You already know Sherlock Holmes, the pipe, the coat, the impossible deductions that make everyone in the room feel stupid. But here's what nobody tells you. Sherlock Holmes was not a genius. Pause. Let that land. He was an engineer. He built a system, a specific, repeatable, learnable operating system for his brain, and then he ran it faster than everyone else. And today, I'm going to give you that blueprint, 4 phases, one framework, and at the end, I'll show you exactly how AI turns this into your single biggest competitive advantage in business. Let's go. Here's where everyone gets this wrong. They think Sherlock Holmes is a fantasy and some character Conan Doyle made up out of nowhere. He wasn't. Holmes was built from 3 very real intellectual traditions. The first, medical semiotics. Dr. Joseph Bell in the 19th century could look at a patient and infer invisible internal disease purely from superficial visible signs. Conan Doyle was literally his student. The second, information management. John Locke's 1685 system, a sophisticated indexing method for storing and retrieving fragmented knowledge, the original brain database. The third, abductive logic. Charles Sanders, Peirce's formal philosophy of reasoning backward from what you observe to what must have caused it. Take those 3 things together and you don't get a fictional detective, you get a cognitive operating system. And the question is, are you running it? Here's the full blueprint, 4 phases, 4 upgrades to the way you think. Phase 1, the archive. This is knowledge management, building what Holmes called the brain attic, curated, indexed domain knowledge, not random trivia. Phase 2, the lens, mindful observation, learning to bypass the cognitive autopilot and harvest objective, hyper-specific data from the world around you. Phase 3, the engine, abductive logic, processing your observations against your curated rules to generate and filter root cause explanations. Phase 4, the application, real-world deployment, applying this cognitive machinery to forensics, complex problem solving, and commercial strategy. This is the SODA system in action, and we're going to walk through every single phase. Before we go deeper, if you're watching this and thinking, I want to actually implement AI automation like this in my business, then AI force multipliers is exactly where you need to be. Here's what makes this different. I'm not a guru who watched some YouTube videos and built a course. I have a published research background in clinical neuroscience. I've consulted for enterprise clients whose customers include 80 of the Fortune 100, and I've done SEO strategy for an ex-Google engineer. That analytical depth is what you get inside, not theory, not fluff, the actual workflows and systems that move the needle. We cover AI automation, Claude skill systems, GEO and AI search optimization, my custom Power Page process, which grew one client 258%, the full stack. Members are saving 10 to 20 hours a week and showing up in AI search where their competitors are invisible. One member even made over $1,000 from one recommendation. Link is in the description and pinned in the comments. Go check it out. Before we get into phase 1, I need to show you what you're fighting against. Your brain has 2 operating modes, autopilot, system 1. It sees without observing. It jumps immediately to one intuitive conclusion. It trusts gut feeling and unexamined intuition. And it stores information indiscriminately, whatever's emotionally stimulating or novel. That's the default. That's what most people run on, all day, every day. The Mastermind runs System 2. On memory. Deliberate, conscious curation of specialized tools and reference materials. On observation, objectively noting minute details, resisting the urge to filter out anything that seems irrelevant. On processing, generating multiple plausible scenarios and suspending judgment. On resolution, disciplined, sequential elimination of impossible variables. This is what Sherlock means when he says, I never guess. It's not arrogance, it's a trained reflex. Now let's build it. Phase 1. The archive. Holmes had a very specific theory about memory. The mind does not have elastic walls. Every piece of useless information you allow in elbows out something useful. The cluttered attic. A fool takes in all the lumber of every sort that he comes across. Useful knowledge gets crowded out. The master's attic. The skillful workman has nothing but the tools which may help him in doing his work, arranged in perfect order. This isn't a metaphor. Science backs it up. It's called bounded rationality. Your cognitive resources are finite. Every addition of useless knowledge costs you. The mastermind curates aggressively. The question isn't what you know, it's what you've chosen to keep. So, how do you actually build the master's attic? John Locke solved this in 1685. He created what was essentially a handwritten relational database, a commonplace book with a letter-vowel index grid. Every idea was filed and instantly retrievable at the intersection of its first letter and first vowel. Locke's system allowed fragmented knowledge to be systematically filed and retrieved, serving as a supplemental memory that synthesized disparate ideas into new patterns. In plain English, it turned scattered notes into a thinking machine. In 2025, your version of this is your second brain, your AI workspace, your knowledge system, your curated information architecture. Most people scroll, Mastermind's file, most people consume, Mastermind's index. That's phase one. Let's move to the lens. Phase two, the lens. This is the skill of observation, and it's older than you think. Ancient hunters used what's called venatic semiotics, inferring the size, speed, and direction of an unseen animal purely from environmental disruption. A bent branch, a disturbed patch of mud. In the 19th century, that same skill moved into medicine. Dr. Joseph Bell diagnosing a patient's unseen internal disease, or even their occupation, like a carpenter's callosities, from superficial signs alone. And then the fictional detective inherited it, treating human environments like a medical patient, reading the symptoms of a crime scene to diagnose the historical event. Same skill, 3,000 years of evolution. Observe carefully, deduce shrewdly, confirm with evidence. The difference between seeing and observing is the difference between amateur and mastermind. System 2 observation means you note everything, especially the detail that doesn't fit. That anomaly is always the clue. Phase 3, the engine. This is where the actual thinking happens, and most people have never been taught this. There are three types of logic. Deduction. You start with a rule and a case, and you get a guaranteed result. All beans in this bag are white. These beans are from this bag. Therefore, these beans are white, airtight, but it produces no new knowledge. Induction. You observe patterns and build probability. These beans are white. They came from this bag. Therefore, probably all beans in this bag are white, useful, but you can be wrong. And then there's abduction. The goal is not guaranteed truth. The goal is the best explanation. Abduction is ampliative and explanatory. It reasons backward, from the effect to the historical cause. It doesn't just extract what's already known. It generates what must be true. This is the core method of the mastermind, and this is the engine that powers everything Holmes does. Here's how the engine actually runs. Start at the bottom. The result. A specific observed anomaly in the real world. The dog did not bark in the night. That anomaly triggers a query to your brain attic, your curated rules and domain knowledge. Rule A, dogs bark at strangers. Rule B, dogs don't bark at their masters. Rule C, the dog could have been drugged. Now you run deductive elimination. You strip away every impossible variable one by one. What survives is the case. The single surviving root cause. The intruder was known to the dog. That's not a guess. That's structured reasoning under uncertainty. And here's the key insight. The quality of your output is limited by the quality of your rules. A cluttered brain attic produces weak hypotheses. A curated brain attic produces brilliant ones. Phase 1 and Phase 3 are locked together. The archive feeds the engine. Now here's where everything changes. Because what I just described, the archive, the lens, the engine, this is what AI was literally built to do. Look at the SODA loop. Input, the lens. Raw environmental data collected via mindful observation. Your curated inputs. Memory fetch, the archive. The result triggers a query to your brain attic. Domain-specific knowledge, retrieved instantly. Processing, the engine. Abductive logic combines the result and the rules to generate hypotheses. Output, deductive elimination, impossible variables stripped away to produce the verified solution. And then, verified cases become new rules, permanently stored. The system gets smarter every single cycle. AI doesn't replace this system. AI runs this system at a scale no human brain can match. You stop being the processor. You become the architect. You bring the domain expertise, the curated knowledge, the quality observations. AI brings the infinite memory, the bias-free processing, and the hypothesis generation. That's not a productivity upgrade. That's a cognitive force multiplier, and this is exactly what we build inside AI force multipliers. Phase 4, the application. Here's the proof this works. When Holmes's methods moved from fiction into the real world, they didn't stay theoretical. They became the foundation of modern forensic science. Holmes's trace evidence concepts, reading ash, dust, soil. Dr. Edmund Locard pioneered the real forensic version. Dust analysis, poroscopy. He said it himself. I merely copied his methods. Holmes's serology concepts, detecting blood type from evidence. Paul Uhlenhuth developed the real technique in 1901, reliably distinguishing human from animal blood. Still used today, Holmes's anthropometry, reading bodily clues to deduce occupation. Alphonse Bertillon founded the Department of Judicial Identity in Paris, the first scientific identification system based on physical measurements. Fiction became forensic science. The framework works, and it works in your business too. In B2B strategy, culture dictates decision-making, and the modern analyst who runs this framework reads organizations the way Holmes read crime scenes. Stories. The anecdotes and origin tales people tell reveal what a company actually values, not what their website says they value. Rituals and routines. How they run meetings, how they onboard people. This tells you their real collaboration style. Symbols. Office layout, dress codes, visible branding. Every physical detail is a data point. Org structure. Reporting lines tell you whether this company operates in silos or integrated teams. Power structure. Who actually gets listened to in the room? Often not the person with the biggest title. Control systems. What performance metrics they enforce tells you what they actually care about. You stop guessing why deals stall. You read the scene. You stop wondering why your market isn't responding. You observe with precision. You stop reacting. You start deducing. That is the commercial mastermind in operation. Here is the final choice. Logica utens, everyday logic, the default state, a reliance on heuristics, biases, and unexamined intuitions. We all possess it naturally. It fails under complex pressure. You see, but you do not observe. Logica docens, trained logic, the master's state, a sophisticated, deliberately sharpened framework of rigorous observation, curated memory, and abductive inference. It must be actively built. It must be maintained. Pause. Look directly at camera. Genius is not a supernatural gift. It is a meticulously engineered operating system. The blueprint is yours. Build the machine. Slight shift. Warmer tone for CTA. AI force multipliers is where I teach people to build exactly that machine, using AI as the engine that makes the whole system 10 times faster and 10 times more powerful than anything you could build alone. The link is in the description. Come build with us. Before you go, which phase hit hardest for you? The archive, the lens, the engine, or the application? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. If this gave you even one idea that changes how you think, hit like. It helps more people find this. Subscribe if you want to keep upgrading your mental software. I'll see you in the next one. Before you click away, if this video gave you one useful thing, imagine what you'd get with direct access. AI Force Multipliers is where we go deeper on everything you just watched. I bring a published neuroscience research background and enterprise SEO experience, including work with clients whose customer base covers 80 of the Fortune 100 and a former Google engineer, into practical, implementable AI automation systems you can run in your own business. We cover thousands of N8N automation templates, Claude prompt systems, GEO and AI search optimization, the Power Page process, the full stack. Members are saving 10 to 20 hours a week and showing up in AI search where their competitors are invisible. Link is in the description. The first step is free. Come see what's inside.